All right, we live, baby. All right, go ahead, Tech. Run the score.
So my question to you is, you get walked into the office, you have a full-time job, they walk into the office and say, today's your last day. We're ending your employment. We're terminating your employment. After today, you will no longer work for us. What's your next move?
You said my next move?
Yes.
I'm filing for unemployment, baby.
Yeah.
So
Immediately.
bro, no filter.
As soon as you get home.
I'm filing for unemployment. You know, truth be told, bro, I never really depended on one job. It's too scary. It's too scary. Bro, I've seen when I drove a truck, my 18-wheeler truck in my trucking days, this dude had he had a spending problem. He would spend a lot of money. I don't know if he was tricking off, if he was going to the titty bar and he was doing whatever he was doing. But needless to say, the truck that I was driving got repossessed the day I was going to deliver a load.
Oh my God.
So my shift, I worked the third shift. I got to the yard, 6 p.m. I drove to the rest area. I said, I'm going to go get some fuel, but I'm going to stop by the rest area and get some, some Panda Express and my Starbucks, get the night roll. And it's summertime. I'm feeling good. The weather's beautiful. I'm ready for this long ass drive to Wisconsin, right? And this dude comes and he's like, hey man, were you driving UC 152? I was like, yeah. He was like, look, you seem like a nice guy. I just want to let you know that I just repossessed your vehicle. I repossessed the truck. The owner of the truck did not make any payments. I was like, dude, all my stuff is in there. Can I get my stuff? Can I retrieve it? He's like, no. And if you want to retrieve it, you have to pay $150. So now I'm out of a truck. I have to call my wife to come pick me up at the rest area. It's too risky to put all your eggs in a basket for another business and you don't know the person's habits. He may have a mistress in England, all you know, and he's tricking off mad money. He may have a drug habit, or she may have a drug habit, and she's snorting your 401k away. I mean, this is real, Tech. Bally Total Fitness CEO embezzled money, had to close down 360 stores, driving a truck. This dude is tricking off and buying mad stuff. Lost his trucks. Lifetime Fitness. They're restructuring the company, which I wanted to go back to that story. They let me go. I don't like getting fired. I don't like not controlling my destiny like that. It's very hard to plan your life where, if you have a disagreement with a manager or a coworker, you could be canned just like that. Nowadays, with AI, you know what they're going to tell people, Tech?
What's that?
We found an automated system that can do what you can do 24 hours. We're going to have to let you go. How can you compete with something that's going to be operating 24 hours? You have an 8-hour shift, but they don't expect you to compete with a 24-hour AI.
Possible.
automated system. They're going to phase you out. Go ahead, Tech.
Anytime there's a merger or an acquisition, those are the words that people are using nowadays. That's a code word for restructuring, as you put it, or a code word for mass layoffs. They're getting ready. Yeah. So the question is, what would you do in the event that you found yourself in that situation? Anticipate that it's going to happen. It's just a really matter of time. If you have a job that requires you to sit behind a desk and you probably don't interact face to face with people, then there's a good chance that you could be on that chopping block. If you are heavily involved with data entry computations, it's a good chance. It's a good chance. I'm not gonna say it's like a slight chance. I'm saying it's a good chance that there's somebody somewhere working on a replit agent and agentic AI that could do what you do. Could you blame a business owner for hiring AI or hiring an AI agent?
I do it. I'm not going to lie about it. I have employees. I'm already looking to replace them with AI. It's not that I'm inhumane or anything. Like, it's just good business. If I pay somebody for 8 hours and I can now get a automated system for like $200 to do exactly what they do for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no days off, no vacation pay, no sick days, of course I'm gonna do it.
Well, what if you could combine the person with AI?
Okay, explain that.
Sabrina AI, we strongly suggest for people who are in the notary industry, there's people who approach us and they say they only want to use AI. Here's the problem. They can't even answer the phone. If they answer the phone, they talk themselves out of the deal. They interrogate the client. They don't know how to deliver a price. They sound unconfident. If you combined yourself with AI, so there's a human element and there's also an automated element to it. Now you have the best of both worlds, or now you become one superpower versus just manual entry versus just AI, just automated entry. What if you combine both of them?
Would I combine them? I probably still would look for ways of phasing them out. My ideal customer really has no employees, physical employees. This type, my ideal business, right? It's not saying that I wouldn't create a business where I do hire people, because I believe, people are great assets. But it wouldn't be for routine jobs, right? If you have a job that is very routine, I'm not hiring a person for that. That would be, at this point in time, it wouldn't make sense to do. If I did hire someone, it would be more in the creative process, because I'm continually building up shows and studios. I love to hear feedback from people on how shows can be better. Like, eventually these shows will be pitched to large networks, right? So like the notary, I'm just getting my reps in right now, Tech, on producing shows. But eventually the shows that we produce will get pitched to networks. And I love focus groups where or brainstorming groups where we come up with great ideas like marketing and how can we make the show get better, or let's bring this guest on, let's bring that guest on. So I would hire people for that, because that's not routine. But routine positions, no, I'm AI could do a lot of that stuff.
So, would the person you hire be entry level, or would this be somebody who has decades of experience?
Oh, great question, bro. Both, both.
So now you're hiring two people.
First, I'm gonna go with the person with the highest amount of expertise, and then I'm gonna bring a disruptor, someone that has no fucking skills in it, and then have them like challenge. I would want, because the person that has like maybe 10, 15 years, let's just say in marketing, right? They may have such a rigid system that they have not really explored other ways of marketing. And then I'll bring that newbie that loves marketing but doesn't have the experience, and I'll really have them sit at the same table and he's throwing monkey wrenches. Be like, well, have you tried TikTok? This, have you know what I mean? This person probably isn't familiar with TikTok like that. They're probably familiar with the more traditional Facebook, Google ads, stuff like that. But then you bring this new fresh blood. I think it will be more on the age group as well. So I'd probably hire someone, a senior executive in the marketing side, but then I'll hire some fresh new blood, a young cat. I love being around young people because they know what's going on. My
Yeah, I hope
kids,
they communicate.
yeah, my kids, Christian, Noah, in Brooklyn, they know what's going, bro. They know everything that's trending. Everything. They know the new dances. They know what videos, what songs, everything. If you give them an opportunity to shine, bro, going viral would be like the easiest thing for them. They haven't gotten the opportunity. I'm ready to hire my 6-year-old right now. Have him run my social media marketing.
You're always going to have that problem where people who are experienced are going to be resistant to the new wave of how to do stuff. It's always going to be a problem. They are always going to have that issue where all of a sudden now the person who has a new fresh idea, but they don't know how to communicate why their idea is better or why it's more relevant. I can see that I can see that in the medical industry, how different strategies, different techniques are created. And then it goes up against, well, what has worked for the last 50 years? And now all of a sudden you want to bring something that's new. It doesn't mean that it's wrong, but at the same time, if something has worked for 50 years, that means it's got some numbers behind it. It's got some evidence behind it. And that's really what you want. You want something, you're not trying to experimental techniques, experimental drugs where you're just crossing your fingers. You want to go to stuff that really works. I can see how that could relate in other industries. Marketing is definitely a big one. I remember I did a notary for this guy who was a CMO for this big company, and I went into his office, his home office, and I remember his kids were there, and they seemed like they were about college age, and he dressed really youthful, like he had sneakers on, jeans and whatnot, but he was definitely old in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw his title on the document. It was like the CMO of this company. I said, okay, I wonder if I could, pick his brain a little bit. But like you just said, all the ideas come from people who are young. So how much?
Bro, the energy is it's unmatched. It's doing business with, and I won't even say, yeah, I can say doing business with them. The energy that this generation, I hear a lot of Gen X baby boomers talking mad ish about this new generation. I'm sure that there were faults in our generation as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you guys are listening to hip hop. That's this. And I'm sure the generation before hip hop, oh, you guys are listening to blues. That's the devil's music. There's always got to be something, right? But this younger generation is born and groomed in a technological age that my generation has not experienced. We didn't experience this until our 20s. Well, you know what I mean? These guys are born into it. They're like literally Neo in the Matrix in that incubator. They're plugged. They're already hardwired in the back of their head with this technology. So they have this insight. They see things where it. I was talking to a young guy. I'll give you an example. I was talking to a young guy that was telling me all of this new technology that was being rolled out and how I can monetize this. How I was like, dude, that's a lot. And that goes back to our topic today about, why starting a side business is no longer an option. If you look at the big picture, you'll be intimidated because there's a lot for you to do for you to start a new business. Oh, you got to do marketing. You got to do sales. You got to set up a website. You got to, seek customers. You got to do advertising. If you look at starting a business with that big of a landscape, you'll be intimidated and you'll probably never start. But if you take incremental steps, little by little, break it down, break that elephant down, you'll have a better chance of succeeding than trying to approach everything. You think that momentum is going to get you to where you want to go. You'll hit a brick wall. So I would say, okay, let me ask you, Tech. If you were to if you had a full-time business or a full-time job right now, and you wanted to start a side business, doesn't matter what it is, what would be your first 3 steps?
First thing I would do is a time audit. I would look at my schedule Monday through Friday, Monday through Sunday. I would look at what time I wake up and what time I go to bed. And I would document what did I do for that last hour of the day, each hour of the day. How many hours did I sleep? When did I eat? When did I scroll on Instagram? When did I check my email? When was I commuting? What was I listening to? I would do a time audit. Then the second thing I would do, I would look at the results of my time audit, and then I would check to see where could I stop watching some of this damn Netflix. Where could I maybe take shorter showers? Where could I stop texting or talking on the phone? Anything that wasn't productive or at least getting me to the goal of starting a business. Third thing I would do is find somebody who probably has done it before. That would probably be the last thing I would do is find somebody who's done it before and then have them just walk me through it.
So you do a time audit on yourself.
First thing.
And then the second one would be?
Then I would, after looking at the time audit, then I would remove all, or I would decide what was productive, what wasn't productive. What could I probably do less of? Can I stop smoking weed? Can I stop going to the nightclub? What the hour that I spent watching a movie that I saw for the 15th time, could I put that hour, dedicate that to putting up a website or at least reading a chapter out of a book?
What would be the third?
I would find a mentor. I would look for somebody who's probably done it before.
You would find a free mentor, or would you a paid mentor?
I would either find that I would look for a paid mentor, and if I couldn't afford them or if I just didn't have the money, then I would try to buy a book that they wrote or a course that they created, or you know, and at least try to get some direct contact with that person. If I could access them like in person, then I would try to meet with them one on one. If there's no way I could access them, then I would definitely buy the book or go to their seminar or conference where they were speaking.
Okay. Now my 3 steps looks a lot different than yours, but I love your insight on how you would do it. If I had a full-time job and I was going to start a side business, the first thing that I would do, Tech, is find the shortest point from A to B to make some money in it. Immediately, I want to start making money in that business. I need to validate that business to see if it's worth my time, worth investing more time into that business. So when I started the notary business, I was in the engineering, doing the marketing for the engineering firm, right? And I said, I'm gonna start this notary business. The very first thing I did before anything, before business cards, flyers, anything, I created the Google business listing. I wanted to start getting phone calls and start making money like the next day. At that time, I didn't have to go through all of those, screening tests by Google. And they basically approved you, right there on the spot. Boom, phone calls started coming in. At the time, I didn't have my commission yet, right, or a stamp, but I was in the position to start making money because I knew that if I could start getting money from that business, I can fund everything else. That's why I was using the term customer funded. The customer paid for my business card. The customer paid for my website to get designed. The customer paid for, my gas. The customer paid for all of that. So that would be the first thing. Whatever business that I'm in, I'm gonna look for the shortest distance to start making money. Second, well, I guess the first thing would be marketing, right? Then the second thing would be sales. And then the third, expansion. So if it's a side business, I'm going to expand it to be more of a full-time business.
How'd you know to make the Google business page?
The who?
How'd you know to make the Google business page?
The mentor. Oh, well, yeah, there you go. The first one would have to be a mentor. That's it. You got it, bro. So the first one would be I seek counsel, expert counsel. Shout out to Andre Hatch in the Notary Business School. He gave me the insight that I needed. Very pivotal in my process. Because even when I didn't have my stamp and my commission, I was able to go back to that expert counsel, learn about the notary agency, and roll that out effectively. So 100% get a mentor first. Second, apply the marketing, and then the third would be the sales. Now, the marketing, let me explain the marketing and sales real quick, Tech. The marketing is about attracting people to come to you. Sales is more of if you're doing it on a personal level, it's a barbarian sport. It's a warrior sport. It's gladiator shit. You're one-on-one, you got your sword, you got your shield, you're bang, 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 bang. And and then you close the sale. The closing of the sale is you winning that victory. Marketing is getting everybody to show up to the goddamn arena to see the fight. even if it is you that's fighting. So yeah, go ahead, bro.
What are the marketing types that don't work?
It depends. I think I think most marketing works if you have the right product and you use the right platform. Like right now, we live in the social media age, bro. You know, like cats is selling shit out of their garbage cans, man.
What?
No, I'm dead ass. People are going to um, stuff that they would normally throw out. They find out that they can actually sell it on TikTok for like $5. You was gonna make $0 on it. You was gonna throw it out. The world has shrunken to the point where you can reach people internationally. And I know this for a fact because when I went out to Mexico, I had, and this was years ago, but I had a bright yellow Sony Walkman, right? With the headphones which connected, which was also bright yellow. And when I went to, what was that, Puerto Vallarta, and I was walking around listening to my hip hop music or whatever, bro, you know how many people approached me just for that Walkman? I was negotiating deals. I was like, all right, if you want this Walkman, I want 5 shirts that say Mexico on it. They was popping it for like 50 pesos, bro. I said, you're about to help me get all of my you know, what do they call, when you bring gifts back from a trip? All my souvenir clothes. You're gonna help me get all my souvenir shopping out of the way right now with this Sony Walkman. And that's the same thing, that same age that we live right now. With social media, you can find something like, bro, if you wanted to sell this can, well, this got alcohol in it, or whatever. But let's just say I wanted to sell this Darth Vader. There's a country that they don't get this. They don't have it. America got it, but there's a country that doesn't have this, and this could be considered a very high end collectibles item.
What you doing with that, man?
Man, this is my guy, bro. This is. I am not a hero. I am a villain, bro. Villains have more fun. Villains have way more fun. So I can put that and sell that online on social media for, who knows, $25, $35, but it probably cost me, $10, $15 at Target. So marketing is very formless. It's not rigid. That's one thing I like about marketing. Sales is a bit rigid. There's a lot of systematic things with sales. But marketing, bro, the more creative you are, like if you're an artist or you're a creator, I would highly suggest getting into marketing. Marketing rewards people that are creative. Period. I'm tired of hearing about starving artists. If you're a starving artist, you need to learn marketing. Your skills will be appreciated in that field, because the more they would call you a disruptor, but that's really just you being creative. I love marketing. I love marketing more than sales. And I love sales.
Yeah, I think even with the marketing, with us going back to the original question, which is what you do starting the business. One of the things I would add to that is what I found is really challenging is the communication part. communication is just a broad term, just like marketing is a broad term. So how do you even how do you subdivide that even further? So many people are taught when you're a kid, you probably only played mostly with other other boys. Girls, same thing. When you're a kid, when you're young, you probably play with other girls. You find this dynamic that's among boys and girls, or when they get older, women and men, they can't talk to each other. They don't know how to speak to each other. In the teenage years, guys don't know how to talk to women. Girls get offended by boys. Everybody's so sensitive. Everybody's got their pronouns. Everybody wants to be respected, but they don't know how to share their or express their ideas without offending somebody or at least crossing some imaginary line. The being talking has got to be a part of your game. The presentation has got to be a part of your game. The way you communicate has got to be a part of your game, whether you're marketing, whether you're in sales. No matter what, if you work full time, people who you work with, your boss, your manager, supervisors, whoever, you can find yourself in such a hard spot if you don't know how to come across or use, because you were never taught how to talk to somebody or how to actually approach someone who, God forbid, thinks different than you, or they may have a different experience than you. So how do you actually talk to that person? Well, working on the communication. I mean, we see it today in politics. We see it today across all types of, you know, different parts of, especially this country, where you get these people who are just, man, I'm hard line on this side. I won't even consider what your opinions are. I won't even listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know how to break through that, especially if you're trying to start a business, if you don't know how to embed your thoughts or at least transfer your ideas into somebody else's mind, you will find that everything is not working. You know, well, it's not. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if everything's not working. You got to find a better way of how to express what it is that you're trying to say, and it never stops, man. It never stops. I was actually on a phone call yesterday with a client, and I discovered something new. I discovered how to respond to somebody who says that they're outside the building. And as you know, as notaries, mobile notaries specifically, we have businesses that don't have locations.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that all comes from communication. That all comes from being humble and then also realizing that, damn, I could say something a little bit different and maybe I could actually get this sale versus being so rigid and being into my point and it not working. So communication is another big one, but again, communication is such a broad term. But I would say I would break that down into um, communication between sexes. I would say communication between ages, and you know, talk about people who are young and how they know what's hot and what's new versus people who are stuck in their ways. Shit, man, I think to me, communication saved everything for me. I
Yeah.
mean, it really did. It saved the way that I work nowadays. I know that I don't even have to say things most times. I can just that's how powerful it can be, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've gotten to like especially if you're in a restaurant, I've gotten things that people probably wouldn't even think about getting just because you know how to approach the person correctly. So, but you know, you're a good communicator, right? Come on, baby.
Yeah. I'll say communication is very important, Tech, because even in those three things that I mentioned, which is getting the mentor, if the mentor didn't communicate effectively, I wouldn't be able to roll out the marketing plan. The marketing plan is me communicating again to people and letting them know the type of service that I provide. So that's very important. And then from the marketing, it goes into the sales, which is also a part of communication. So communication blankets all of that stuff. You got to know how to talk to people. You know, it's funny, man, because our generation, we used to have to go communicate by the way you young cats call it Riz, but we used to call it having game. So when we would go talk to the chick, our number one goal was to get the phone number. If you got the phone number, bro, you was considered the man right there.
Yeah.
Now you guys are walking away with Instagram. You guys are walking away with the Instagram handles. Now, communication is very important there too, because if you communicate effectively to that person in their DM, then you have a higher chance of going out on a date with that person. So work on your communication skills. There's a statistic out there, and maybe some of you guys fall into it. Young cats, young males up to the age of 21 has never asked a girl for their phone number.
That's a lot of people.
They're not getting the 7 digits anymore, Tech. I see it. I watch all the funny videos on YouTube and Instagram. When a girl is telling you to follow her on Instagram, it's a low-key way of curving your ass.
Yeah, that don't mean nothing. Yeah. Follow me on Instagram.
She's curving you, bro.
So I can ignore you.
She's curving you. Look, Tech, spit some game at them, please.
Why would I want to follow you on Instagram? Why would I want to follow you on Instagram anyway? What for what? So I can stalk you? You want me to stalk you? You want me to stop it? Stop it. I want to talk to you so that you can talk back to me. I don't want to send you smiley faces and stars and stuff. Yeah. Oh, really? Really? Yes, really. I've never had anybody say that to me. Yeah, I know. I ain't the regular old any old body. That's why.
But even in business, right? If a person if you have a mobile notary business and then the customer refused to give you the address, how can I service you? How can we build more of a connection? The phone number is super important. And again, it goes back to the communication skills. I don't know who you got to learn. Don't learn from me on communication. I'm on and off. I'm hot and cold. I'm a New Yorker. It gets real smooth and it goes very south very quickly. You're like, this dude is a prick. So don't take communication skills from me, but get it from somebody. Yeah. Maybe John Maxwell or Earl Nightingale is a good one. It's more of a traditional one, but he's really good with communication. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people on there, but communication it's everything, man. And it doesn't matter what language you speak.
It's a skill that you're going to need no matter what. The AI revolution is already here, but as you continue to build a side business, it's something that you can always talk yourself into another role. So about a year ago, you really started talking about the prompt engineering. It's funny how that's starting to pop up now. How people are talking about vibe coding and talking about how even if you are saying that I'm sad today, or I don't feel like doing this, or I need to go and do this, those are like prompts that you're prompting yourself with. All right. So Google just dropped their new system, the new uh, AI generator, and now all of a sudden, I remember, you would have to prompt up a video, and it would look like a horror film. It would look terrible. Nowadays, it's looking like, I mean, this could be us right now. You prompt up this two guys talking with the skies in the background, clouds, dark clouds. Got our names like as if we were broadcasters, and you know, but that all goes
It's
down to
amazing
recession.
what's going on right now, bro. The I saw commercials on television now that is using AI to create videos. You guys need to learn this stuff. I know you may not want to learn it. I implore you to learn it. Listen, AI is the inevitable. It's not going anywhere. Like internet, it's not going anywhere. When internet first hit the scene, people were very skeptical about using internet. Then, when it was time to take payments on the website, people did not want to put their credit card information on a website. Today, you probably have subscriptions that already have your credit card stored in there. Multiple subscriptions. They already have your credit card information in there. AI is going to be like the internet. It's not going anywhere. You're going to have to learn it. You might as well start now. You're still ahead of the curve. You're still ahead of the curve. Learn prop that I when ChatGPT first came out, I probably bought at least five different courses on AI. At least 5. And they were very inexpensive. And they taught me about prompt engineering. It taught me about how I can customize and make my own GPT. It taught me all of this stuff, how I can use ChatGPT to actually summons a person. Like if I told ChatGPT, I want you to act like, I don't know, Bill Gates. What would Bill Gates do in this situation? It will conjure up Bill Gates. Right? It will conjure up Bill Gates and then give you solutions on how Bill Gates would approach this, because there's enough content, there's enough information that it can index. It's the way Bill Gates would think. Today I day trade, right? I use Ray Dalio as an advisor now. I would probably have to pay Ray Dalio hundreds of thousands of dollars to advise me on how to day trade futures. But I can have ChatGPT do it for $24.95 a month. You have the best mentors in your pocket. That's amazing, dude.
How do you use ChatGPT? How do you use ChatGPT?
How do I use it?
Yeah.
Oh, ChatGPT is my henchman. Whatever target I'm trying to hit, ChatGPT is going to accelerate me reaching that target. So right now, my target is 1, I want to be a profitable day trader. ChatGPT has helped me turn. Now, this is paper money. I'm not playing with real money yet, ladies and gentlemen. But In my simulation, I was able to turn 50K into 61,000 right now. That's because ChatGPT has been coaching me up. You know how long it would take me if AI wasn't around? So I have it coach me up on what I need to learn and how to be a profitable sniper day trader. I didn't have that type of access. You know, I would have to go to Barnes and Noble and read so many books to be where I'm at today. And I've only been doing it since May 1st.
Yeah. You use it for anything else than that?
I use it for marketing, brainstorming. I use it for everything. I put that bitch on everything. Just to show you, Tech. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's probably too bright. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm in a trade right now. You see it? Probably not. But
No.
it's up to 59,888 right now. I'm trading as we're on this thing. I wouldn't do that if AI didn't give me a good foundation on what to look for, right? I'd be on that shit. I'd be like, really looking at it and trying to adjust. But it gave me such a good foundation that I don't have to be on the phone like that. And I could run this show. Oh, bro, it's y'all bugging if y'all not using ChatGPT. Straight up. Y'all bugging.
What would you say to the person who works full time, but then they want to build a business, but they can't because they are heavily monitored. They can't pull out their phones. They can't answer calls. They can't respond to text messages. They can't day trade. They just are occupied and they're
Start looking for your way out. Those type of handcuffs in 2025? Nah. Me personally, I'm not with that. If I can't, bro, that sounds like handcuffs. That sounds like prison to me. I can't check a text. I got a family. How can I not check a text? How can I not take a phone call here and there? Like I have no downtime. I can't step. If I was a smoker, I could go out for a cigarette break.
Really?
Right? I see it all the time. Smokers always go out for multiple cigarette breaks. They probably take up at least 5-6 breaks in their shift on top of their lunch break.
There's a Goodwill that's near my house, or what's it called? What's the guy who stands outside ringing the bell? Anyway, it's like some type of secondhand store. It's right by the freeway exit, right there. Every time I get off the freeway, I always see 6 or 7 people. Every day, 6 or 7 people. They all got their lanyards on. They're out there puffing it, man. I'm like, damn, y'all always on break, man.
Yeah, bro. The cigarette smokers take more breaks than anybody. I would become a fake cigarette smoker. There go a bar for your ass. Become a fake ass cigarette. Just carry a pack of cigarettes. You don't have to smoke it. Just be like, hey, just wave it to the reception and be like, yo, I'm going out for a quick break. Make whatever phone calls you got to do. Check it. Have ChatGPT plan your escape plan. I'm dead ass serious, Tech. I would do that shit. If I was in a situation like that where I couldn't move and they would just try to work me to death like I'm a Duracell battery, I would find ways of I have to find these pockets of time that I have to start making my way out. And then I would do that.
Hey, what do you think really is going to happen with when AI? What do you think is really going to happen when AI start coming for people's jobs?
People will have to learn new skills. They're gonna have to learn new skills, bro.
You think people are gonna turn on each other?
They turn on each other now, so you know. I mean, the humans gonna do what humans do. You ain't got. If that nigga's a crook before AI, he's gonna be a even more sophisticated, better crook with AI. That's just he's gonna move like that. If this person's a negative person before AI, they're gonna be even more negative and cynical with AI. People just gonna do what they do. But you can't concern yourself about what other people do. Look, Tech, my family fight me on AI right now. I'm surfboarding AI. They're saying, "Oh, you're too wrapped up in." Okay, you'll see.
Wow.
You'll see. The same people that were fighting me on becoming a mobile notary, saying there ain't no money in notaries and you can't. Nobody's gonna pay that price for a notary. When they saw them checks coming, and they heard them phone calls and me closing them deals, they was like, "What do I have to do to become a notary?"
They're lining up.
Yeah, so I don't worry about what public opinion is. But you man, there is a new species emerging, a new human species that is emerging, and we are becoming this new cyborg type of species. If I'm not mistaken, I think Elon Musk got some type of neural chip in his fucking brain. There's quite a few people that actually already have it. We already have people with machinery inside of their bodies, pacemakers and all of this other stuff, robotic legs and hands and stuff. We already seeing it, man. We already live in a time of cyborgs. My father-in-law has this equipment attached to his arm, and it's connected to my wife's phone, which lets her know when his blood sugar is too high and too low. She could be driving hundreds and hundreds of miles away, and it alerts her phone of her father, blood sugar level.
I did a notary for the guy who invented that.
Yeah, see?
He's a brother too. The Freestyle Libre.
So we're living in a time, bro, where your old skills are quickly being obsolete and diminished on a very, very vast level.
I like the people who go the opposite way. They say, I'm going to do all the old stuff that's never going to go away. Like my garbage disposal was leaking yesterday. Like I need somebody to fix it. You know what I'm saying? I like the people who do say, man, forget that AI stuff. I'm going the opposite direction. I like those people.
Think about you talking about garbage disposal, right? Well, think about this, Tech. There was a time that there used to be 4 people on a garbage truck. That's no longer. By my crib, there's 1 person in a garbage truck. And the arm comes out, grabs your garbage, dumps it in, and puts it neatly back on your driveway. Like they already did that in the garbage disposal business. When I was driving a truck, which was about 7 years ago, they were already talking about we're going to be replaced with self-driving 18-wheeler trucks, bro. The truck drivers didn't want to believe it. They're like, "Oh, there's no way they can replace us. We're too vital to this industry." London's already doing it.
Wow.
They already have
Safer.
it.
Yeah. In the name of safety.
Your neck of the woods is nothing but autonomous driving cars.
They're everywhere.
like,
Yeah.
like, what more do you need to see?
Yeah, I don't know where y'all live at, man, but where I live, there's already self-driving cars. There's already self-driving taxis right now. And you can get in there. And they're nice, too. They're not, like, busted up. They're nice looking. They're Jaguar F-types. You see them everywhere. 24
Bro,
hours a day, bro.
when you sent me that video of a damn robot delivering the food, I said, this is next level. When you showed me that little robot carrying food and it was just driving on the sidewalk going, and some of you guys in your city, you probably have it. I just started seeing it in Chicago. That little robot with two eyes on it is probably about 24 inches high. It's taking food to people now. For those that are doing DoorDash and Uber Eats and stuff, that's going to be phased out. Uber is already looking at autonomous self-driving vehicles to deliver the food. Don't be surprised if you see a partnership between Tesla and Uber. This is a wake-up call, y'all. When I was engineering, I was half marketing and then I'll do half engineering at Ford for the company Clarion. When I would go into the Ford factory or Dakota factory, they would have these robotic arms putting together the car. Bzz, 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 bzz. Do you not see your replacement? Are you not working next to your replacement? This robot is working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no lunch break, doing exactly what you're doing right now. You thought you was going to be able to make a career out of being a cashier. They rolled out self-checkout. Do you not see your competition? Like, yeah, bro, it's real out here, man. Let's stop playing games.
You always do self-checkout, huh? You're one of those guys.
Heck, my sister-in-law will order everything online and have somebody just bring it to her car.
Yeah, it's nice.
Look, man. And then now they're probably going to phase that away and they'll just have it get delivered to your home. They already have that. But it's going to become more and more relevant. Don't be afraid of technology.
But that's the thing with the whole time audit point I was making earlier. If you look at your day and you says between the hours of 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock, I had to drive to Walmart. I had to shop. I had to stand in line, and I had to drive back home. If you were looking to build a business, which is what the topic of today is, then the 2 hours that you spent traveling to Walmart, standing in line, shopping, coming back home, you could have spent that 2 hours studying some communication, reading a book, or meeting up with a mentor. You never have to leave the house. You could actually have somebody do your shopping for you. They could have delivered it to your house. deliver all of your groceries. And shit, you could probably even have somebody cooking for you too. I mean, it's really a matter of looking at your day and seeing how it's structured and seeing where you can get the most out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm ready to log off, you guys.
Yeah, man. If you guys want to check out our software, which is designed for entrepreneurs, check out Sabrina. There will be a QR code at the tail end of this. We will see you guys next week. In the meantime, peace, love, and happiness, and a lot of money to you guys, man. Take advantage of this time. You heard? Peace.
As a business owner, you're juggling a lot, and managing phone calls can quickly become overwhelming.
That's where Sabrina, the AI voice automation that turns calls into clients, comes in. Imagine having a reliable 24/7 assistant that never misses a call, handles routine questions, schedules appointments, and directs important calls to the right people, all without needing a human touch.
This frees up your team's time to focus on what really matters, saves you money, and ensures every customer gets a consistent, professional experience. It's like having an extra set of hands, so you can focus on growing your business, not just managing calls.
Scan the QR code to book your free demo today.